First thing I want to do today is tell you a story, and I believe I've told this before, of in Ganesh Puri, my teeth started bothering me. And so I went to Baba to ask if I always would ask Baba permission to leave the ashram. And so I asked him if I could go into Bombay to see a dentist. And he said, sure. Now, most people wouldn't want to see a dentist at that point, to be perfectly honest, in India, but I was fine. So he gave me permission. We went into Bombay. The dentist was a lovely man, lovely. He x-rayed me, checked me out, and said everything was fine. So my teeth were just really sensitive. And that was the time that when we went back, heading back, the car broke down that we had rented. And Shripati had bought the turtles for his daughter and needed to find water somewhere while the car was being fixed. So he went off to find the water. And he came back with water in the can for the turtles, and a couple of men, one with a python around his neck, and the other one had a cobra in his basket. And we were all Pandus, so they knew they could get us. So there were hundreds, always when things happen like that, out of the woodwork, hundreds of Indians all show up for the play. And the python man plays with his python, and everybody's going, woo. And then the cobra man pulls out, and there's the cobra, showing the cobra. And then they wanted money, of course, for their great tricks. So that was when Shripati opened the can, and the lid, and put the turtle on the lid and showed everybody the turtle. And everybody laughed. All the Indians laughed. They knew we were not to be had. I think it was either one of the two men laughed. One of the two men got the joke. One of the men were not happy with us for doing that. And Shripati just kept on doing this. It was a great moment. Great, great moment. I loved Shripati. He was a tall, very tall man. And he had been in Vietnam, and he was a point man in the jungle. So a little bit crazy, and had the ability to be amazingly just out there. So he and I would either be on the same team in a Leela or opposite teams on a Leela. But we always respected each other and liked each other. And so what was great about the ashram in terms of the group of people that I ended up in Leela's with, most of the people knew that you ended up laughing about it. Everybody laughs because everybody's been had. And everybody learns from it. If you don't learn from it, then you're the guy that's humorless, sitting there with your cobra or python, and nobody cares. So we all had to learn. We all pretty much were learning. So teeth are an issue for me. And we got back to the ashram that day, and Baba was waiting out in the courtyard. He would sometimes at night just when it was really hot, and he'd sit outside on his seat, and we'd come in. We came in, pranam to him, and I told him my teeth were fine. And he said the next time my teeth bothered me, he was going to take a hammer. He would take a hammer for me and just smash them all. Oh my God. So when the Shakti is really strong, my teeth start bothering me. Does anybody else have that issue?
Yes. Yeah.
So yesterday, I woke up. My teeth were really bothering me. And I didn't know whether, after having finally succumbed to root canal, I didn't know whether, oh my God, really hurting me. So the dentist we go to, which is now Stacy's cousin, was there. He was totally willing to be there. And he was actually going to be there at 9:30 to see someone else who comes here who had had some work done the day before. So he checked my teeth. He was really nice. He said he did the horrible, and he hated doing the test where they buzz you and you go, oh, to check to see if the nerve is alive. My nerves are alive. But I think my nerves were alive on the other two teeth. So that never seemed to be. And the cold thing, he put ice on it and it's cold. They were cold on this one. So though it looked like, well, definitive, my teeth are fine, we were not completely sure. And I'm not completely sure, but we're leaving it. But he gave me his home phone number, his cell number. He said if over the weekend he would come in and start the root canal to relieve the pain. He didn't, and he doesn't, this particular man, hate seeing people in pain. He apologized when I reacted. He cared. It was so nice to see. Then I went to the acupuncturist that I go to, Dr. Lee, and he doesn't like to see anybody in pain. And came home, and clearly what's going on is a tremendous amount of Shakti. I haven't been in this particular amount of Shakti in several months. So I had a really fast meditation last night. How did everybody else do? Pretty fast? Hour and a half? But civility, respect, care, those are all components that we have to work with. And if in this present time, we're looking at very much upheaval and the opposite of civility arising. If it's in a person, it's going to come out. It comes out. And if they think that that's now being honest, which a lot of people do. So I saw, unfortunately, and very hard for me when the Shakti is this strong, everything is like so sensitive. I saw this man screaming at the media, traitor, you're traitors. I'm a patriot, you're a traitor. It's like, how do you know? And why are you doing that? And why are you screaming that? And where are you all? And I go, civility, human, everything that's in there is going to come up. Whatever's coming, whatever's sitting in there has to come out. You have to face it. You have to feel it. You have to live it. And you can't call it all the nice words you call it. And then when someone else does the same thing, call it all the bad words you call it. If you're honest, so are they if they call you names. Thank you for being honest. I'm honest too. Traitor. So, cruelty, envy, anger, hate, all sitting inside. But you can't call it, I'm just speaking my truth. You gotta call it what it actually is. So last week's blog was on goodness instead of, there's a big difference between love and goodness. If you want to be good, you're probably not going to be love. If you're going to be the good that you think you are, you're definitely not going to be love. Goodness has got to go. In order to really, truly love, we have to give up good. Once we see that we're no longer good, it's such a great relief. Oh my God. You can actually be human. You can care about other people. Unless you don't want to care about other people, then you just call your hatred good and call it a day, and we'll watch you hopefully go down the tubes at some point, because hopefully you will. Maybe you'll learn then. So I wanted to open it up for questions. And if you don't have questions, we'll meditate.
I have a question, Rohini.
Okay?
When you talk about giving up goodness, and I know intellectually the idea of giving it up isn't giving it up. The desire or the want to give it up isn't giving it up. The trying to give it up isn't giving it up. But I don't know how to actually give it up.
Okay, good question.
How would that look?
How would it look like? Okay, so first is, you're absolutely right. Intellectually, lots of people, we all know the answers. We all know the right answers. So you're absolutely right. Intellectually, no. Trying, no. Wanting, no. So the first thing you have to do is what somebody used to say that I knew that was such a warning, but he didn't see it as a warning, is, I can't believe I'm not a good person. If you're saying that, I can't believe I'm not a good person. I am a good person. I am feeling wise. You have to feel it, not think it. Feel it. So, Julie, are you a good person?
No.
Your answer was, I am.
See, I thought that was in my head.
No. Yeah, no, emotionally, it is a yes, I am. Do you believe yourself to be innately good? It's just you don't always manifest that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a yes. It was a yes. It was a yes. So then you start asking yourself those next questions like, are we all really innately good? And what does innately good mean? Because that would have to be universal good, right? Universal good would have to be just love. So you go, I'm a good person. What does that look like? Is the way to start. What is it that I do that makes me know that I am a good person? And usually we get our good definition of what our good action is from somebody in our early childhood.
Okay.
So for instance, and this week's blog is going to be about that, but I will share it. Oh, nice colors.
Thank you.
The belief that to be good, you have to be drab. Some people have that belief. So if you wear drab colors, then you're good. So I don't always wear drab colors. As a matter of fact, I tend not to wear drab colors. Therefore, then I am bad. You see this? So you want to start looking at your definition of good and feel it. And it has to be based on your feeling, not your ideas, because your ideas will be good is nice, this, that, blah, blah. No, what you actually call good.
Because you ended up defining good pre-verbally.
Right, exactly.
So if you're putting words to it, you're already
You've imposed words on that goodness
that you learned later.
right that exactly, and you called, so the way it's better than, so what we're going to talk about in the blog this week, and you can is, instead of looking at the word good, look at the way to be. Because that is what good is for each person. Good is the way to be. Does that make sense?
That makes more sense to me. Yes.
So, what gets taught in here is the way not to be. Make sense?
No.
Well,
So the taught in this room.
yes. Yes.
I thought what gets taught in this room is the way to be.
No, the way to be is the way you have already designed and set up as your goodness.
Way to be in
Oh, you're saying
Wait.
It's my wrong understanding that what's being taught in this room is the way not to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So, for instance, if I tell you to buy a car that has value, that will pass inspection, that is safe, and you have been brought up to buy a car that somebody told you would be good when it's not safe, when it isn't going to pass inspection, when it isn't going to do that, then what I am telling you to do is the way not to be. And what you're going to do is the way to be. You're good, I'm bad. That's why that Tibetan monk said, when you're doing sadhana, your world will be turned upside down. So your good is the way to be that has never worked.
But for me, my good is also like about what my intention was behind my action. So that I thought like what I'm doing is good, so I can please almost myself, like please myself. But that may not be the good for you.
That's right. That may not be the good in the greater sense of the word. So it might not be coming from love. It's coming from your idea of good.
Mm-hmm. And that when I could see that, it was bad.
It was bad. All of a sudden, then good becomes bad. Yeah, you begin to say, yes, exactly. It is not. It's like, if I like something, then you'll like it, so I made it for you. But I know you don't like it, but I'm being good because I know what good is. But my good and your good are very different. So good is a temporal, it is individual, and it's just a notion. But because we don't really look at it, because we don't take the time to call it what it actually is, we say good, and then we believe it's universal. So if I say I want to be good, and my good is running around, partying, doing this, doing that, all kinds of crazy things, but I don't tell you what that is, and you say, oh, that's a good idea. We all want to be good. What does that mean?
When you're stuck in it, you wonder why people keep getting mad at you, because you're just being
Good. You're just being good. What's wrong with your good? And until you feel look at what do I call, how does good manifest? What is my good actually doing? If good is judging, then I'm just telling it the way it is. Really? So you have to feel. You have to hit that emotional place where you are being good, and then you say, ooh, is it really good? Is this good? I am good. So I am eating this food that is the most unhealthy thing for me. Because goodness is indulging and having whatever food I want. Or I am good, I'm not eating. Or I am good, I am yelling at people. I mean, we go back to my mother, Sylvia, who wanted to be called a good person. And she was so mean to everybody, but she saw it as being honest. So she would just call people names and yell at them and scream at them and everything. And then she'd be done with it, and they're all like a mess, and she'd smile or something. And people thought it was her dementia, but it was her character. She was good. And if somebody else did that to her, they were bad. So you look at your own good and how you manifest and the way you operate, and then go, if somebody else does that, do I call that good? And as you're saying, you think about intention and motivation, but most of those times, if it's good, if it isn't coming from a place of real love, then it's not going to be experienced for that other person as good or love. They don't experience it. And then you get trashed and you don't know, but I was just being good. That help?
Yes, thank you, Rohini.
Absolutely. Just look at the way to be. The way to be is good.
For me, I mean, this is obvious, but it still comes down to, for me, whether I'm willing to be awake in order to even know, because if I'm going on automatic pilot, I'm going to do the thing that hurts the other person, right?
Right.
And then if someone actually does tell me, am I willing to then accept it and look at it? And
Well, are you awake when you hear what the other
Right.
person says?
that's
Right.
what it comes down to.
Part of it is if it's good to be asleep.
Yeah,
If the way to be is
I
asleep,
didn't think of that aspect of it.
but that is, for a lot of people, the way to be is to be asleep. That's good, because then you don't bother anybody. You're not a bother. So then somebody telling you to wake up is being wrong and bad and encouraging you to do something you shouldn't be doing, because you know good, the way to be. Anybody else?
I think what we had talked about when you read something to me about somebody else's point of view on something,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it helped me a lot to see that people look at things in a really different way than I do. But I still have trouble with it.
Oh, it's hard. But you've got, it's like, okay, and that was the article about, okay, so I had listened to and watched Mr. Khan and his wife, his speech at the Democratic National Convention. I thought it was beautiful. I could see the sadness in that woman, and it was how hard it was. And then some, I'm going to put it in scare quotes, minister wrote, and wow, you saw the same talk and saw it that way? It was amazing. It was hateful, it was attacking, it was this, it was that. It was amazing. It was an amazing read of it. And I do look for, on the internet, I look for how do people see. So I'm looking at the whole thing, to be perfectly honest. I do not like Mr. Trump's views and his character and manner. So I look, but there are all these people who are screaming for him. So I'm looking at, I want to see and understand how other people see it. And because you just hear, hate this, that. So I read an entire article of him, of this man, talking about Mr. Khan, and it was amazing to me. It was like, wow, how do you see that? But that's, again, going back to, if your underlying is not love, if you're not going for love, if you've coded your idea, if love is hidden and what you have is this love-hate dynamic, this power and subjugation dynamic. And it's at that level. Then you can start to understand where people are reading things and how they see things. If I decide there are only two ways to look at the world, it's either through love and hate, and it's love that's opposite hate, then I'm looking at this, I believe this man, then if I'm looking and I believe Mr. Trump, then this man has to be, who doesn't believe Mr. Trump, he has to be coming from hate. And so then I just very simply, from that spot, put the argument together. And it's all very rational if we believe this is the bottom line. And so that's what it is. You can't say, oh, well, love is the bottom line, so how does he do that? No, he doesn't live from love is the bottom line. He thinks love. So love and hate are here, and there we go. And then it might, oh, yeah, I could see, yeah. I could see how you could see that. Yeah. Yeah. So Mr. Trump is not subjugating, he's creating community to a group of people that have not had any community. He's galvanizing and bringing shared ideas. And everybody else then has been ruining their ability, those people's ability to have community. And the belief is, if it's power and control and subjugation, there's only one view in the world. We can't have different views on things. There's no choice. It's just one view. My view. I alone. Which goes to, it's not power and control, it's alone at the top. So, do you see? You see how you start to, oh, I understand how they see things. So, like a real simple thing is the President of the United States golfing. How come he's golfing? There's so much work to be done. It's so nice to see him golfing and taking time to golf and take some time to have some. It's all about, where are you in the moment? Same action. Wow, it's so nice you wear bright colors. Wow, if she were really spiritual, she wouldn't wear bright colors. It's all, you see? But are they coming from a place of love? No. No, because even if they were coming from a place of love, and let's say the most loving thing for that particular person was the right thing, their thing, was to wear drab colors. That was absolutely made their heart sing. Right thing. They then wouldn't be negative towards somebody else who's wearing bright colors. I'm so happy to see you wear bright colors. It's so beautiful. This goes to, and I don't care, Mary Bell. Ian knows her. Her house was always filled with flowers, and when she had a party, she'd have even the towels in the lavatory fit the theme. So if we're doing Halloween, everything was Halloween. Christmas, everything was Christmas. Everything. I mean, beautiful flower arrangements everywhere. Everything was decorated that way.
It's impressive.
It was. It was impressive. I would never in a million years do that. Oh my God, you get paper towels. Be happy. But I so appreciated what she did. I'd always, wow, Mary Bell, I love this. This is so great that you can do this and that you love to do this. Not my thing. This goes back to, are you sour grapes in terms of someone else living their life? Or are you okay with where you are? Can you let other people, which is not what you were talking about, but it moves on in that sense of, are you willing to have somebody else be a completely different way of life if that's the right way for them?
And like make a judgment about yourself. I mean, like,
Right.
like even if you're okay with that, then you like do, and you wouldn't do it. But like for me, it's often like, well, then something's wrong with me.
Because I don't, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can't put that towel, yeah, right. So I'll give you several examples. James Clavell's Taipan. Anyone read it? It's a great book. There's, I think his name is Ian Dunross, marries a Chinese woman that he loves dearly named Mei Mei. And they're going to have, they live in Hong Kong, I think. Yeah, well, Taiwan. They're living in Taiwan. And this is like late 19th century. Yeah, late 19th century. And they're going to have this big banquet with all these British people. And she, as a surprise, has made a beautiful Western dress with a hoop skirt, the whole thing that they were wearing during that period of time, to surprise her husband. And she comes out in the dress, and he's horrified. And he said, I love you in your, what he called pajamas. I love you in, take that thing off. What was right for her was right for her. And he appreciated that. Great moment. Great moment. Why did I become a cheerleader for the St. Louis Cardinals? Woohoo, NFL. To see
if it was right for you.
Yes. See whether I was sour grapes, that I couldn't do it, or it just wasn't me. So I did it. So I can't not cheerleaders, because I can say I was cheerleader. And in high school, that whole thing of looking at the popular girls and their cheerleaders and they're in sororities and all that sort of thing, was I sour grapes or it just wasn't me? I didn't know. So I got to college and I said, I need to know whether it's sour grapes. I actually said this. And I went forth. I pledged to sorority. And I don't just do anything just lightly. I was president of my pledge class. Woohoo. AE5. Woohoo. And went out for cheerleading. I was Wash U varsity cheerleader and then St. Louis Cardinals football team cheerleader. And guess what? They weren't me. But I did it. It wasn't like I got fired or I made a fool out of myself. No, I was on TV. I was in a Coke ad. I was in all of the. No. I realized it wasn't me. So I didn't have to be mad at them for doing it. Great. I'm so happy you can do this. And so could I, but it's not me. So I'm going to quit. It's okay. It's okay. Did anyone ever see the movie Strictly Ballroom? And the scene where she opens the curtain and sees the woman with all the feathers. That's just like, oh my God. And I agree, I was with her. She goes, I could never do that. And there was a wistful thing of, she wished she could, but she couldn't, but she couldn't. And it was amazing. I mean, anybody walking out in public looking the way that woman did and feel good about herself was incredible to me. She didn't feel embarrassed. I would like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. She looked like a chicken. Didn't she look like a chicken dancing? It was just so. But that moment when the character of Fran goes, I could never do that. And it has that wistful, wish feeling. And it was, thank God. No, it's okay. It's great for her, and you need to do it your way. And that's the thing, is wow, can never do that, but great. Good for you. Not my thing. I'm so pleased for you that you're happy doing that. So back to good, then I wouldn't want to impose the way to be that I have on someone else.
Yeah, for me, it's about recognizing that you have a choice. And if you recognize that for yourself, you would also recognize it for someone else.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And when you're being good, you're not choosing anything. It's all running you.
It's all running you, and your judgment of the other is almost a jealousy because they're not being good. How come they get to do that? And then sometimes, how come they get to do such a stupid thing? And that goes back to your thing. They see it as good. That's the point. They're doing what they're doing, and they're as stuck as we are. We're all just doing it the way to be. How painful is that? So until we get that, nope, I'm not good, and it's really okay, we're going to suffer.
Is it normal when we're working through something for those feelings involved to rev up?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's going to just... And you want to be with the feeling and not superimpose an idea on the feeling. And this goes to you, Julie, also in understanding, is you let the letters come from the feeling. Let the letters come up, and you're going to get to a point where, whoa, look what I just thought. Because you're letting, that's what really runs you, not what you superimpose on those feelings. Your good is not the words that you superimpose. The truth is, your good is what comes up that you then manifest. You superimpose and miss what you're really calling them. So I just want to lash out becomes I'm going to be honest. You understand?
Yeah.
So
What do you do?
so lashing out is good. Lashing out is called good. And until you see that, you're not going to put the tape on your mouth. You're not actually being with your experience, let whatever comes up come up and function appropriately. Once you see that lashing out is called good, you go, hopefully. Then again, different people. Lashing out's good. I don't know. But my world, not so great. So then I'm going to go and act appropriately. That's where the phrase don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. You want to quiet it down, not come from that vibration. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That answer you?
Is it common for all of our systems to feel that it's good to not be honest with ourselves? Because then we're going to
Well, if
break apart that very thing we think we are.
you don't call it not being honest,
Oh, yeah.
what do you call it?
Being gracious or
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're as polite to you're, as you are to everybody else, you're as polite to yourself.
Okay.
You don't want to hurt your feelings. So you're not dishonest with yourself, are you?
No.
No, you're just very polite and
Yeah.
kind.
I'm a lady to myself.
You're a lady to yourself.
I'm at my own tea party.
Yeah, you're kind to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be mean to yourself to say those things.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do that, would you? No, that wouldn't be
Good.
good.
Yeah.
There you go. That's amazing. Yeah, you have to watch what you call it, because if we're all good, we don't call ourselves doing anything bad or mean. We're all just
So
good.
Rini, that's the importance of doing the four economies so we can break it down. And
Yes.
then hopefully get to a place where we get to that vibrational level so we can feel the difference between.
Well, you get to the vibrational level when you're asking yourself those honest questions, when you're answering honestly of those four, and then you break it down and then you're free of it. Then you're off the grid when you've actually gotten to the 8 yeses. When you get to 8 yeses, you've stilled the vibration that has been running you. So, for instance, watch. Sucker. What's the opposite of sucker?
Skeptic?
Well, sucker isn't good.
Yes,
So,
very good.
see clearly?
Savvy.
Savvy. Savvy. Positive of sucker.
Open-minded.
Open-minded. Receptive. And negative of savvy.
Know-it-all.
Or cynic. There would be the
Yeah.
Jaded.
Jaded.
Yeah, jaded.
Jaded. Okay, so Christy, are you a sucker?
Yes.
Yeah, you are. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yes. Are you savvy?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Are you, what was the,
Open-minded.
open-minded, receptive? Are you receptive?
No.
Is that okay with you?
No.
No, it was a yes. Yes. Are you jaded?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yes. Are you a sucker?
Yes.
It was, I am. Great. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
It is. Are you Savvy.
Yes. No.
It was no way. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yes. Are you receptive?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Are you jaded?
Yes.
It also had I am. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yes. So jaded, you've conflated jaded, do you see, with being savvy, and receptive with being a sucker. And but you end up manifesting sucker and jaded.
Okay. Yeah.
You put the cherry on the top, but it still looks the same. Okay? So those are the vibrations that you do. And then you always feel upset and hurt and feel like you're bad and people don't like you and you don't like you and you're just playing with that vibration. So let's keep going. Are you a sucker?
Yes.
It's still I am. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
It is. I'm going to ask the question, is it the way to be?
Yes.
Yes. Do you see that? So are you good when you are a sucker?
Yes.
There you go. Got it?
Yeah.
Are you savvy?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
If you were savvy, is that the way to be?
No.
No. If you were savvy, would you be bad?
Yes.
Not the way to be.
Right.
Are you receptive?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
If you were receptive, would you be good?
No.
No, not the way to be. Got it?
Yeah.
Are you jaded?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Is that being good?
Yes.
Is that seeing the world clearly?
Yes.
Is that the way to be?
Yes.
So when I tell you not, to get clean and not be a sucker and jaded, am I telling you not to be good?
Yes.
Are people seeing this now? And God forbid you should be savvy and receptive, correct?
Right. Woo-hoo.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the whole use of the fricotomy. And that's why people don't want to do them, because it's ruining their goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you a sucker?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Are you savvy?
No. Was it a yes this time?
Yes. Are you savvy?
Yes.
Yeah, it was I am. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you receptive?
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Are you jaded?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Are you now in a very different vibrational feeling?
Yes.
It's off the grid. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Did you just get free for at least a moment?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Good job. Not the way to be. Are we clear? Not the way to be. So I just have to end it with, so if you're fighting me, you should look at what you're calling the way to be. And then you're going to go, whoa. Just simply, did I want you to buy a bad car? No. Was that wrong of me? Yes. Sorry. Not the way to be, right? The way to be is to buy a car that's really not good for you, right? There are very few people that car is good for. Very few people, I would say, go get it. So it's not the way to be. Amsterdam was not the way to be. Yeah, it's funny. From this point of view, it looks okay. I'm sitting here going, okay, woo, wow. Then you understand, wow. And then I actually do go through. How did that get to be okay or a good idea or wow?
I see you do that with everything. Like even if someone says the most insane thing, like I feel it. I watch you go through it, and I think and like seriously, I don't know. I don't do that often.
Yeah, I get.
How did that get to be
How does that get to be
a good idea?
a good idea? How did that get to be the right thing to do? What acrobatics? They get 10s, 15, 20s on their scores. On what acrobatics do you have to do in order to get that to be a good idea? I do that a lot. It's like, well, then they had to have done that to do. How did they do that?
Well, I think in terms of people's relationship to you and what you say, there's a degree to which if you're painted with a brush, that means that anything you say is no fun.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much you're telling somebody to get an amazing car or go to an amazing city and do something fun or whatever, it's going to be no fun. And so, or something, it's going to be not good. But it is a bizarre lack of reflectiveness that creates that kind of
yeah, it has to be.
I mean,
Yeah,
you have to be really, really stalwart in the desire to paint you with a particular brush, because it just doesn't make sense otherwise.
yeah. It's like, really? Wow. You don't want to go on that? You don't want to go on that? I was like, really? Wow. I still have in my mind the image of the apartment that they provided for you. Okay, watch. Amsterdam. Summer. Sun. Light. Flowers. Remember? Flowers.
Amazing.
Okay, hold on. An apartment for you. Paid for. Get an apartment. Yours. By yourself. Not only that, they feed you. Remember?
Studio too.
Yeah. They give you a studio, your own studio. It was in the woods sort of thing.
Yeah, it was.
It was in the woods. In the woods.
Nothing around.
Your own studio. In the woods. And you were at that point doing a landscape. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, oh my God. Your own studio, your own apartment, and, especially for you, they feed you.
I think of like the most important thing that would be it.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's totally. They feed you. It's like, who wouldn't want to do that? I'd rather stay in the drudgery of the wonderful thing of what I'm, what? Would anybody like to go on that? I was like, who wouldn't want to do that? But obviously, You didn't. And I just like, I couldn't figure that one out. I had the hardest time figuring that one out. Like, wow, okay. Aaron had a great time in Germany. He was at Oldenburg. So, not the way to be. Good is your way to be. Whatever that is. And if you don't look at, and that's what it is, and back to Julie's question, you have to look at, well, what is the way to be?
I think about like with the whole selling the house and all that whole year, and you helped me so much because my way to be would be nervous and worrying every minute about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, I mean, not that I didn't at all, but I minimized it with your help to
Mm-hmm.
see that that wasn't going to do anything.
This was an
And that was
exciting, freeing time for you.
And you made me see that because
Yeah.
my worrying seemed like that's a good thing to do. If I'm worrying, then I'm nervous.
If you're nervous, you're handling things. How many people have that? If you're nervous and worrying, you're handling. So, when did that ever work? Here, as the last moment, let's just sit here and worry. It doesn't work. You can't find the solutions and the next step if you're sitting there worrying, nervous wreck.
So that just helped me so much get through all that.
Cool. Great. I loved having you down the block, and I was so thrilled for you when you sold it.
It was awesome.
It was like, oh, whew, greatest weight off you. Yeah.
Same for me buying the house. If you left it up to me, I would have bought, the equivalent of Ari's car.
Yeah. You were doing settling. Settling is the way to be.
So thank
Yeah.
you for
No. Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah. Don't settle. It was okay. For you, the phrase was not to settle. Not to settle, you can have what you want. There was no way, we use it, I could have one of the things on my list. A bathroom. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.